Hi, my name is Randy Mack, and this is an excerpt from my novel, North Side Story. This comes from chapter 39, called Just in Case. The Alley Cats met at Jack in the Box after school on that Monday after Thanksgiving. Terry recounted what had happened Saturday night when the fire department and police had shown up. The fire department had determined that someone had poured gasoline around the fence and set it ablaze. No damage was done, except that the fence was blackened along with a few stray tufts of grass and weeds growing up through the asphalt. The cops asked him what he had seen, which was nothing. They asked what he had been doing, and Terry explained that he had friends over playing cards, but they had left right after the fire because they were freaked out by it. He was quick to tell the police that none of his friends had seen anything suspicious either. They did tell me that someone they talked to mentioned seeing a white car driving around the neighborhood, but he couldn't give a description or a plate number, Terry said. The cops didn't hassle me too much, but somehow I don't think they're going to do much about it since no one got hurt and there wasn't no damage done. We've got to do something before things get way out of hand, Jesse said. I told Raph I want us to meet with Trick on Wednesday at 6. Zach and Jim looked at each other. We have band practice on Wednesday night, Zach said. The other guys are pissed that we've been cutting out on them so much. We've got a show. We're rehearsing 2 new songs. Mandy giggled. You mean you know other songs besides Crazy Train and I Am Iron Man, she asked. Hey, we also know Paranoid and Breaking the Law and, Jim said indignantly. We don't all have to go, Jesse said. All we're going to do Wednesday is talk. Is there anyone else who can't make it? I've got basketball practice until 5:30, so I don't think I'll be able to make it, Brad broke in. I can't either, Dina said, lighting a cigarette. You can't? Why? Angelina asked. My cousin's wedding, Dina said. We're getting fitted for our bridesmaid dresses Wednesday afternoon. I have an eye doctor appointment at 5 that day, Mandy said. I won't be done with that in time to go. She was relieved to have an excuse not to be there. Well, that leaves 5 of us anyway, Jesse said. Do we have your okay to negotiate on your behalf? Sure, Zach said. The rest of the Wednesday absentees nodded. We know what we want, Zach said. We want them to leave the club people alone and Terry's brother's business. But how do we do that? Brad asked. That's why we're here. We have to come up with a plan. We know we can't just say, leave us alone or else. We've got to be able to back it up with something. I want to state right now that I want nothing to do with anything involving guns or knives or weapons of any sort, Mandy said. I agree, Danny said. I'm sure they are a lot more experienced using those sorts of things than any of us, and I personally don't want to get maimed or killed. Well, I personally want to take a sawed-off shotgun and go after the lot of them, Terry said. You wouldn't be so cocky if you got them all pointing guns back at you, Jesse said. I agree with Mandy and Danny. We've got to stay in one piece, and we don't want the cops involved. So what do we do? Zach asked. Ask for an old-fashioned skin-on-skin fistfight? Actually, that's not a bad idea, Jesse said. From what I can tell, we're pretty evenly matched up with them. We could challenge them to a fair fight. If we win, they leave us alone. If they win, we'll back off. Jesse, they'll mop the floor with us, Mandy said. I'm sure they've got a lot more experience fighting than we do. Than I do, anyway. I've never fought anyone before. You smacked that bitch in the face and made her leave you alone, Angelina reminded her. Yeah, have a little faith in yourself, Dina said. The idea just scares the heck out of me, Mandy said. Hey, don't worry, Jesse said. If it gets too intense, just back off. The rest of us will take care of it. You'll probably just fight that same girl or that blonde bitch anyway. Zach, Jim, and Brad were having a conference, and Zach said, We've scuffled with some of those guys before. If they play fair, I think we've got a pretty good chance. I wouldn't mind mixing it up with that Trick fella, Terry said. He gave me a concussion. I'd like to return the favor. Let's take a vote, Jesse said. Is this what we want to ask for? Almost everyone nodded. In favor, raise your hand, Jesse said. 8 hands went up. Mandy's and Danny's stayed down. Then slowly Danny's made it 9. Everyone looked at Mandy. I abstain, she told them. Motion passes with 9 votes, Jessie said. Watch out, devils, here we come. After the vote, the meeting broke up quickly. Mandy grabbed her Pepsi and trudged out to the van. Angelina caught up with her. Mandy, are you with us? She asked anxiously. Mandy sighed. Angie, this has gone a lot further than I thought it would. I don't know how to fight anybody. That one punch I landed on that girl was just luck. Well, if the devils agree to the fight, Jessie wants to have a meeting to talk about strategy and fighting techniques, Angelina said. Okay, Mandy said, feeling deleted. Alley cats kick ass, Angelina said, showing the cat's paw sign. Mandy smiled weakly and returned it. She hoped Angelina was right. So that is an excerpt from my book, North Side Story by Randy Mack. It is available on Amazon.com. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Thank you.